I'm sure you've been in love with somebody who doesn't recognize you. Or you've been in love with somebody who is abusive to you, who beats you up, who buys you flowers afterwards, who buys you a beautiful car and a beautiful home, but fucks you up every night, beats you up. I'm sure you have. So I'm in love with the ANC, but the ANC doesn't love me the way that I love it. And I'm sorry to say this because it is evident not in what they say, but in their works. Our leaders have become so self-conceited in power and power struggles on who is going to become what, who's going to become what. You'll see now, you've already seen. I hope everybody's good. Just wanted to speak about one or two things today. Listen, I don't know about you, but I've got one single concern. I'm a taxpayer, and I've been for a very long time, and I'm sure you are too. I'm sure you're South African. I'm sure you're paying quite a number of tax. It could be a PAYE, because you earn a salary, you get paid, and you pay tax. You could be paying rates because you bought a house, and therefore you're paying for your water, your electricity, and your refuse refusal. You could be paying VAT because everything you buy, you're paying VAT. And there are more different taxations that exist depending on the level of income that you earn, right? You could be an investor who buys and sells properties, and therefore there's different taxations that you pay there. My question today was really about how is it possible that with so many, in fact, it was raised at one of the groups I saw when they were breaking down the level of ownership of the economy of Soweto. And what I realized was that the majority of salons that are in Soweto, spaza shops, are owned by foreign nationals, Somalians, Zimbabweans, and Ethiopians, Bangladeshians, Indians. So the informal sector in Soweto alone is probably running into about 1 or 2 billion a year. And all that money goes away. And these people, these companies, or these individuals who own all these informal businesses, they don't pay any of the tax. They don't go into the bank. It's all cash. You don't see them in a bank queues. Okay, I haven't been in a bank in a long time because I use online. I use on my phone. But you understand what I'm saying, right? That they don't bank in our banks. All that money is cash. It easily flows out of the country. There are goods that come in illegally into the country. They don't pay tax on any of them. We don't pay tax. Have you paid tax? Spaza shop. You've never paid tax. And therefore, all the money they collect, they take, they keep. They don't pay their staff members because they bring in their brothers and sisters to work for them in their shops. And I'm in no way trying to be xenophobic or Afrophobic. And I'm not saying this because I'm frustrated by foreign nationals who are illegal in the country. I'm frustrated because I had to submit my tax, and when I did my tax returns, I realized how much I paid for the last 10, 15 years. Every year, it's just been a pain submitting my taxes. I don't know what tax bracket you might be in, but let's say you're on a 35% or 40%. Okay, I'll use 40%. Maybe you're the highest tax bracket. Maybe you are the 10% or the 1% where you earn 500,000 a year or above, right? So you are paying 40% on what you earn. So let's say for every 10 rand, 40 rand that goes towards the tax man, right? Then you pay 15%, which is VAT for everything you buy. So it's already 55%. Then you're paying rates, you're paying your services for where you live. So let's say that's another 10%. That's already 60 rand for every 10 rand. I haven't even counted all these other different taxations where maybe you are buying a car that's worth 600,000, 700,000. There's different taxations. You can look at your statements when you buy a car to see what are you being charged for. There's different taxations that you pay for. And trust me, I'm not a tax consultant. I'm not a tax expert. I'm just a layman who pays my taxes, who I just thought, my God, what's going on? And I thought about all these companies and all these businesses. I was around Fortsburg 2 days ago. I drove around Fortsburg. I could not believe the amount of shops that are owned by foreigners. The Ethiopians, Somalians, Indians. Some of them are illegal. Some of them are probably legal. But if you look at the state of those shops, they are not looking like people who pay taxes. And being a small, upcoming entrepreneur who's trying to make things happen, you realize how tough it is to actually get started as a small entrepreneur in this country. Can you imagine how these guys are running their businesses and then they are not even contributing towards tax? Go to China Mall, just off Main Reef. There's a big China Mall there on the left-hand side on your way to Joburg. On the back-hand side of where Edgar's used to be, there's a big China Mall. I mean, there's quite a number of them. And there's lots of shops around Jozi. And they are not paying tax. I doubt even the way they import the goods they sell to us, because go to any China Mall, you won't pay tax. And maybe sometimes we think we benefit and we think things are cheaper, go China Mall. It's because you're not paying any tax on it. And therefore, Nyugo Eo is not going to the state to assist our grandparents, our mothers and fathers who are pensioners, our elderly, or those who are sick, who are dependent on grants to be able to make it alive, to survive every day. Now, I don't complain about paying what is due to Caesar. The problem I have, and I was raising this on Facebook earlier today, is to say, and like, why is it that South Africans who are hustling, who are trying, are the ones that are being penalized by SARS the most? I listened very carefully to Dr. Malinga on the podcast in Chill, crying about what the taxman has done to humiliate him. Yes, he might have not paid. Somizi was one of them. Yes, they may have not paid their taxes that were due to the government. And I'm sure there are others who have, the stories broke to say that they have not paid their taxes. These are South Africans, by the way. Our brothers and sisters, yes, they made a lot of money, musicians. Casper was one of them who had to pay a huge tax bill. Julius Malema was one of them who the tax man had to embarrass to deal with him. And nothing has been done to all these spaza shops that are everywhere. Now, think about it. I mean, Kasiengwe there's a spaza shop. And then normally what happens is that, because spaza shop on say, it's not just a guy who's selling who owns it. There are guys who owns 10, 15, 20. and then he brings people from Bangladesh, Pakistan, Ethiopia, and all these other countries. They come in, they work for them, they work in part of the network. So they say, when I see Pozwala, Kenya better life, familia, where they come from, then you'll come, you'll work there, and then they'll say to you, within a year, you're going to run the shop. After a year, we are going to help you get your own shop. We'll bring your brother to Tuzeli to come and take over the shop. And then when you can move to your shop, we'll fund you, we'll give you, we'll build a shop. And I know this because they approached my mom. They approached my mom once, Barco Corona, Rekain space it us. And once you give us a space, we'll build like a garage size type of room or shop, which is about probably a 6 meter by 8 meter or a 4 by 6, just depends on the space that you've got. Then they build, then they put in the stock, and the stock can go anything up to 20,000 stock, with fridges, with electricity connected, everything being done, right? Then they pay you a rental of anything between $4,000 and $5,000 a month. And in some cases a bit less, just depends. And of course, I'm in no way saying those who have given permission to these foreign nationals who are South Africans are wrong, right? They need an income. So Tolore, it's no longer viable for you to run it. And you decide, or no, get renti setama Pakistani because they pay me on time 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 a month for the space, and Abanto Kodisi in paying me what is due to me. It's okay. I'm not blaming you. Where I have a problem is that the taxman needs to be, as much as they can chase celebrities who make a shitload of money in 1 year, 2 years, and they don't pay because it's too much money and they don't understand, and it's too much. So you get a big hit song, the next thing you're performing all over, you're making 60 to 80 to 100,000 a night, two gigs, 3 gigs, making 300,000. DJs, they buy fancy cars, fancy things, and then they post about it on social media. Or I've got a Rolex, I've got a nice chain. The tax man is on to you, gents and ladies. So be careful what you post, because they quickly see those of you who have amassed a lot of money in a short space of time because you post about it. They will come after you and they will do exactly like they've done with Dr. Malinga, right? And many others. And they don't do it for foreign nationals. We've never seen China ba patele tax. Go to every single town, you'll find Chinese, you'll find all of these guys that I've just mentioned. And you don't see the taxman atamaya, shop to shop, saying, I'm from SARS. I'm here to see if you are paying rates to the city of Johannesburg. I'm here to see if you are paying this, you are paying that, you are paying this. Are you employing South Africans? Are you empowering South Africans? Are you paying tax? Are you paying PAYE? Are you registered? Are you on the database of the Labor Department? You don't see any of that. Are you paying UIF? You don't see any of that. So my big question and my big problem and my big plea is with the Minister of Finance, Date Ino Kodongwani. So Date Ino Kodongwani, since you've become the finance minister and your predecessors, I have never seen you clamp down on illegal immigrants who have ownership of businesses in South Africa and houses in South Africa. We don't know, some of them are buying houses. Kempton Park are full of Nigerians. Hillbro's full of Nigerians. Some of them have bought properties in cash. They are not even paying for rates. They're not even paying CGT, capital gains tax. Have you ever, like, what have you done to see those who are not paying are being dealt with, especially the foreign nationals? Like, you have embarrassed our own brothers and sisters who are South Africans. What have you done? And you have this thing that when you send a tax man to black South Africans, it's a spectacle, especially if they're a celebrity. It's a spectacle. And you leak information to embarrass them, to embarrass our own brothers and sisters. You've done it to so many that I've mentioned earlier. And you're going to continue to do it because now you have a specialized unit that is going to be focusing on social media to catch out all these celebs who are posting fancy cars and so on. But you fail to send people on the ground to walk. Doesn't even take long. Bakapaka koloi at one spot and just walk around Kodikasi, but check this puzzle ship and find out this criminal network that these puzzle shops are running. Who owns them? And I also want to make an appeal to the most, I don't know, out here, the Minister of Economic Development. That guy always survives. He's always talking big business, big things, but he is unable to look at economic development from the ground up. IDC, big business, like big manufacturing sectors, which are actually failing. Because if you look at manufacturing as a whole, it's taking a serious knock. We're just importing things, and some of them, they're illegally imported. I mean, we've seen these puzzle shops, some of them, they are selling illegal products. They don't even see whether these things are SAB approved. Nobody goes down to check, are these products locally made? Are they fake products? We've seen the fake Coca-Colas, fake East, so many fake stuff that are being sold to our people that are going to hurt and kill our people. Our ministers are chilling there with their blue lights and nice fancy BMWs, and they are not doing anything about it. The MMCs of economic development in the city of Johannesburg, Ntate Mabunda, I don't know if you are going around Soweto to check out, to see if the local economy of Soweto, or it's actually foreign owned, that it's going towards other nationalities, that our money is leaving the country. You sit there in your nice, comfortable offices drinking nice, fine whiskey. You don't come down on the ground. Go look at all those guys who are owning Kodi Taxi Rank, who are owning all these spots, Kodi Taxi Rank. Baba Paisang Kodi Taxi Rank. A lot of them are foreign nationals. Just go to Bree Taxi Rank, or go Noord Taxi Rank. All those guys who are selling there, most of them are foreign nationals. 70% of them are foreign nationals. With more than 500,000 passing Kopri a day, Yabat, every day. Can you imagine how much money just goes and leaves the country just from Kopri, from the informal sector point of view? Go around Johannesburg, all the informal markets, informal sectors, people that are selling there, 70% of them are foreign nationals, 30% are South Africans. What are you doing? What are you doing, MMC Mabunda? And I want to also come back to JMPD, because this is law enforcement. This is about bylaws enforcement. Okay, the only bylaw enforcement that JMPD is doing, it's basically when they are stopping us on the roads for our licenses, car licenses, speeding fines, you name it. Everything to do with the roads. But there are more than 100 bylaws in the city of Johannesburg. More than 100. And the bylaws can only be enforced by JMPD in collaboration with other departments. You look at the informal sector, there are informal people that are selling the plate. There are people selling food, selling food go on the streets. They don't have permits to sell food. They are not even compliant. They're making our people sick. Our people are sick. Our hospitals are sick because of the food that people are selling on the streets. And they don't even have licenses to actually sell food because they are unhygienic. They have no access to toilets. And even if they have access to toilets, the toilets are dirty. Go to every taxi rank and look at the people that are selling food there. Go around Joburg, go kry motho a baisa nama nje, I braai on like a scuttle in an oil that's been used 15 times, 20 times, 30 times. And our people eat that food and they get sick. And like, what are you doing, JMPD? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So my conversation, my solo conversation today, it's really about my deep concern as a taxpayer, as somebody who's been loyal for as long as I've worked, as long as I've been able to qualify to be a taxpayer, right? I have been paying tax, paying rates without fail. And sometimes I'm like, I can't see the value of what I'm paying for, other than the fact that the tax base that I'm part of creates a little bit of money to be able to take care of my aunts, my uncles, my mother, and some of my families who are disabled, and maybe some teenagers who have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 kids and they can't afford it. So bathola di grants tseo. And again, the 350 tse di yang ko machita le bo masestere ba leng gore they can't find work. And I get that. But all I'm asking, Kohore, there could be a bigger tax base that we can get from. And actually, our current South African base, tax base, it's shrinking because a lot of the high net worth individuals who are white predominantly are leaving the country. They are leaving with their skills. They are stopping and closing down shop with their businesses, and they are leaving our brothers and sisters without work. And therefore, the shrinking tax base is happening on a year-to-year basis. So my last comments, Gore, our leadership, and I'm talking from the president to ministers, to premiers, to MECs, to mayors, all the mayors around the country, all the members of the mayoral committee members, all of them. Those of you who are elected to serve, whether you're an MP, an MPL, or a councillor, but you are literally fucking things up for the country, man. And you are messing things up. You're not doing your job. You don't have the best interest of our people at heart. You don't. You don't care about our communities, our people. You don't care about us. You care about yourselves and your jobs. You care about the next election, or am I coming back as an MP? Am I coming back as an MPL? Am I coming back as a councillor? And granted, it's only 5 years that you've got a term of office. And in that 5 years, you spend the first 2 of it traveling up and down between Cape Town and Joburg, Cape Town and wherever you come from. And you are just chilling there at the provincial legislature. You are doing nothing at the provincial legislature. What does an MPL do? What does a member of the provincial legislature do? Other than sit in committees, write a statement now and again. We don't know what the hell you're doing, because the police service is a mess. The education system is a mess. Anything that belongs to the province is a mess. in any city that you can go to. Almost 80% of all the cities in the country are a mess, but we've got high net worth and high income earning mayors, city managers, councillors. And yet the city that you are in is deteriorating. The province that you are in is deteriorating. The country is deteriorating. But you are earning a big income. You're earning a lot of money. Anything between 400,000 and 1.8 to 2 million rand. That's how much some of you are earning. But the country is going down. What are you doing? So my appeal to those of you who watch the Free Ride podcast, I want to thank you. It's a solo conversation today. Thank you for watching the podcasts. We are growing every single day. There's 2 or 3 people that join. There are those of you who watch the videos from start to finish. There are those of you who engage with me on the show. And I'm going to do another follow-up solo conversation where I actually read all your comments, because there are between TikTok, there are just on TikTok alone, there are probably 2,000 comments in the last 2 months. I cannot keep up with all of them, but I respond to as many as possible. So I'm going to look at all of them, screenshot them, and respond to some of them so that you guys can see that there's so much engagement on the Free Ride podcast. On Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, there has been so much interaction between yourselves and the podcast. And I know that every show I have not been mentioning this, and I know that I have not been responding to you guys in a video form, but I want to appreciate you for liking the content and for engaging with me on the content. I really appreciate it. And I just want to make one appeal to you guys to say this podcast is really about sharing information with yourselves. It's really about my thoughts and outlook on the country, and bringing some individuals who can come and engage with me about how they've contributed to the country and contribute to this beautiful country that we love. And also for me as an activist, somebody who has served in politics as an activist, to share my activism with you online, my views online. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with you don't have to like what I have to say. But I used to be an activist on the ground, building branches on the ground, building people on the ground. Get at the house meeting, the public meetings. I used to do so much of that. I no longer do that, unfortunately. I now do it online. I do it on my podcast. This is where I have my public meetings. 5 of you can watch this and it can touch your lives. I'm happy with that. 1 person, it can touch them. I'm happy with that. It doesn't have to be multitudes of people. It just has to be 1 individual at a time that I touch through this podcast, that it needs to change. And I used to empower young people, develop young people. Over the last 10, 15 years, I must have developed over 20 young people who today are working. They are mothers, they are fathers, they are married, they have full-time employment, they've bought cars, they've bought houses, they are built them. I've helped them, I've developed them. I've enjoyed every single moment of giving back to those young people. I used to do it face-to-face. I used to do it in contact. And I used to use different platforms to be able to develop young people, right? And I've done this for so long, where I've given myself to communities, given myself to people, to South Africans. Those who have worked with me know this, and I'm not making it up. This is what I have done to change people's lives for so many years. And so I now decided, Jorge, I've got 3 children. I've been away from home. I've given myself so much to other people. I've given very little time to my son, to my daughters, who are now getting bigger and bigger every day. And now I have the most amazing opportunity to be able to work from home, to work from my own space, to do my hustle the way that I know how. And I I can be home when they wake up. I'm home when they go to school. I'm home when they come back. I'm home. I'm able to play with them. I am able to chill with them. I'm able to listen to their stories. And I use this platform of the Free Ride podcast to be able to empower people so that I don't stop empowering people. And this podcast, as we grow closer and closer to 2024, it's going to get a little bit more political, or I'm going to give a lot more political knowledge, political information, so that you understand that when the Freedom Charter was written, it was a bunch of people who wanted to make sure that people have the power to govern. And it then says that that the people shall govern. It's one of the clauses in the Freedom Charter. The people shall govern. And I realized that we as South Africans are extremely fortunate to have a democracy that we have today, that you can vote and you don't have to fight to vote. You don't have to die to vote. You don't have to be sent to prison in order for you to exercise your right to vote. You can vote at a local level. You can vote in a provincial and national elections, right? You can vote for your ward councillor. You can vote for a PR councillor. You can vote for a member of the provincial legislature. You can vote for an MP. And yes, you don't have a choice on who becomes the president. You don't have a choice on who becomes the premier. You don't have a choice who becomes the mayor, because that is what the parties decide to do. So I'm going to be able to share some information with you using my experience and my knowledge to be able to pass it on to you as some of the people who enjoy my content, so that when we get to elections, you really just get the fuck up and go and vote. I'm sorry to say this, but you need to get up and go and vote. There is no way that you should say, my vote does not count. There is no way. You cannot tell me, Jorge, when you have gone to school and you are educated and you are smart, you have a car, you have a home, you're dressing smart, you smell great, and you think that not voting is a solution. It cannot be. It cannot be. It cannot be. So I'm going to do the best I can and not advocate. And trust me, I'm a member of the African National Congress. I'm a member of the ANC. I love the ANC. I love the ANC. I'm concerned about the ANC. I'm concerned about the ANC. I'm like, have you ever been in love with someone who doesn't love you back? Have you ever been in love with someone who doesn't know that you exist? Have you ever been in love with somebody who doesn't see you as an equal? You know how bad that hurts? You know how deeply that hurts? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've been in love with somebody who doesn't recognize you. Or you've been in love with somebody who is abusive to you, who beats you up, who buys you flowers afterwards, who buys you a beautiful car and a beautiful home, but fucks you up every night, beats you up. I'm sure you have. So I'm in love with the ANC, but the ANC doesn't love me the way that I love it. And I'm sorry to say this, because it is evident not in what they say, but in their works. Our leaders have become so self-conceited in power and power struggles on who is going to become what, who's going to become what. You'll see now, you've already seen come the national elections, the national conference, got December. People are contesting to become the president. Ke Ramaphosa, David Mabuza, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Duduzane Zuma, the chap from Zolim Kize, Digitals, 5 people have already put out their posts to say they might consider running as a president of the ANC, right? Let me not go to the list of the deputy presidents. Paul Mashatile, Mabulu Kubai. There's a few others that I don't even know. They might just put their hands up and say, Lena, I want to run. Then there's the secretariat position. So, and this happens in a silly season of the ANC, where there's a national conference. And of course, COVID had a lot to do with it, that it made this year even more crazier. And therefore, our leaders at the regional level, they ran to become the chairperson of the region. They ran to become chairperson of the province. And it's all these provinces and it's all these regions. And as a result, they focused internally to say who becomes what. And it doesn't necessarily become what is the issue, what do we need to solve, why do we have such an election decline? Why do people feel like the movement is no longer caring for us? So I'm in love with the ANC, and unfortunately, people around me in my hood are no longer in love with the ANC. They don't talk nice about the ANC. I'm deeply involved in our community, and in our community, I'm in so many WhatsApp groups, and some of the things people say in this community about Mokhatlo, it breaks my heart, man. It breaks my heart. And I know so many people have given our movement a chance. My mother has never voted for anybody else. I was naughty. At some point, I thought the DA was a correct vehicle. I joined them, and I was part of them. And then I saw for myself how white people are. And I told those at the time, Kere, and look, all parties are a problem because our leaders have become self-conceited people. They only think about themselves, their jobs, their money, the perks. And let me tell you, the perks are great. An average councillor in Joburg earns anything between 40 and 60,000 rand a month, if not more, depending whether you're a mayor, speaker, or MMC, member of the mayoral committee members. So it's a big jackpot if you get in, bro. If you get a job there, you make a shitload of money. It's more money than anywhere else you can earn with less qualifications than in the private sector. And that's why all these peeps, I was a councillor between 2006 up until 2014. I've seen councillors come and go. And all the ones that are coming from the private sector, and they get a job in council and they quit because they earn more money there. So it's a big jackpot that a lot of our leaders have become self-conceited about and care less about our people. So I guess today's episode is really about me ranting, complaining, bitching, moaning, because I have every right to do so. And so do you, by the way. You have every right. But come, I tell you something. Come 2024, don't be a lazy ass. Don't be a lazy person. Don't be a lazy person by not getting up to go and vote. Trust me, be like a white person, especially Lona Botaki. Tsoganka 7 o'clock for crying out loud and just go stand in a queue and vote. Then you have the rest of the day to do other stuff. Many of you do this. You go do other things. You start drinking. You go there at 7 o'clock at night. You go and vote while you are drunk. What kind of nonsense is that? Your forefathers died for you to have the right to vote. Now you go there drunk. And listen, the country is going to see a huge, huge, strange change in politics. It's already started, where you have coalitions running government. Now, there are good things and there are bad things about coalitions. And trust me, 2024 is going to be a big decider on coalitions in Gauteng and other provinces, and nationally as well. And it's going to make it difficult for that there is not going to be one single party with single power. They will have to negotiate power and share power. Now, it may sound like a great thing, but coalitions on their own are extremely difficult. Difficult in that you end up finding that people negotiate on the basis of what they want to benefit out of the coalition. It's not about how are we going to improve service delivery. How are we going to make sure that potholes are fixed? If you drive on Main Reef from all the way from Kojozi and you go all the way to Leratong, those of you who use Main Reef, right? Main Reef Road is the mining belt that allowed for this city to be what it is today. This mining belt is what has created this city to be a mining town. In order for us, all of us who live in Johannesburg, for our forefathers to come here was because of this mining belt, this mining road, this Main Reef Road. It is the mother of all roads that created the economy of this country. Main Reef Road. Go look at it today. Main Reef Road to Haina, the street lights. All the street lights are taken off. All the globes are gone. All the street lights, the cables are gone. All the metal on the street poles are gone. Going all the way to Leratong. So, at a local level, you find that there is no service delivery when it comes to repairing the infrastructure that breaks. Maybe the local authorities might say it is not, Main Reef Road is not a municipal road. It's a national or provincial road. But god damn it, that road is not safe, man. Okay, maybe I'm pushing it. Via ofite ka Main Reef Road to Kenokare Oyako Durban Deep and go see what the state of the infrastructure looks like there. The roads leading up to that side are terrible. Terrible. And I'm sure now you know so many other townships. Kasau, Koshalanteng, you've seen the deterioration of our infrastructure, our lack of service delivery. There's no inspectors, there's no building inspectors, nobody is walking around and seeing and taking note and say, and like, the infrastructure is a mess. Before 1994, right? Although white people created these small cities, small towns, Rodipote, Randburg, Senteni, and all of that, all these were municipalities. In each of them, there were inspectors, and the inspectors, there is no way you could extend a house without getting council approval. There is no way you would erect a structure, Sao Kenya's Paza shop, or Sese Onuanke, a foreigner, without an inspector walking around and inspecting, over and above a councillor. The urban inspectors in all cities have just gone down. They're not working. It's just government employees who show up, put a jacket on the chair, and then leave and go shopping for the day. Go home and watch Netflix. Because they are not inspecting. Go to Northwest. I'm sure many of you take Swartregens, Halia Chai, Lia Zerast, Lia Rustenburg, Lia all the way to Bokuruman, Kokaikai, Komachai Mahikeng. The infrastructure is pathetic. Northwest is a mess. Mess. Batswana ba gaetsho ba sentse. O ye ko Free State. Ba sentse Basotho kwa ba ja pere le ba ja tonki. Okay, ba ja tonki, ba ja katse. Ba sentse. The infrastructure, the roads are a mess. You look at that beautiful city, Bloemfontein, that used to be that beautiful flower city. It is dilapidated. It looks like a mess. Mess. And what do our comrades say? Nothing. Nothing. The other day, I saw the president trying to speak about the Auditor General's report on the state of municipalities. There is no single municipality that is run by our glorious movement, be it in the Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, Western, Northwest, Limpopo, and even Gauteng, that is run by our comrades, that is actually doing well. And it's sad to say this. It pains me to say this. But it turns out that it's only the DA-run municipalities that are doing better. They're not doing great. They're not doing good. Okay? Go Cape Town, you'll still find Guguletu, all those other townships as you leave the airport. Sure. But the Auditor General reports year on year out to say, Western Cape, some of the municipalities they are doing a lot more better. Then ritle kota rona. Yako Free State utlo bone ma sip. Yako Northwest. Iranwa get criminal. Gangsters are running Northwest. Messing things up. I know I've said a lot. I'm here to rant, complain, bitch, but that's what I'm here for. So, once again, I want to appreciate you for watching. I want to appreciate you for listening. I want to appreciate you, man, for constantly liking the content that I share. I really, really appreciate it. I have made up my mind that this platform is going to be about sharing knowledge, sharing information, helping people, educating our people, empowering our people. Only the best way I know how. Because building people, empowering people, supporting people is what I know. It's in my genes. It's what I've been doing for the last 15, 18 years, is helping people, developing people. So I'm using Free Ride Podcast to be able to do exactly that. So if you are a student, you want to learn, please, I'm going to continue to share podcasts and content that can empower you. And it's going to take time to grow it, but I'm already happy with the numbers. I'm happy with the numbers to have nearly 15,000 people on TikTok saying, we fuck with this shit. We love this thing. We want to watch more of this content. On TikTok, in 2.5 months. It's insane. About 1,000 of you have liked my Facebook page, have subscribed, are following the content on my Facebook page. It's only been 4 months. 1,000. 800 of you have subscribed to the YouTube channel. it means a lot, man. I'm a nobody. I'm not popular. I don't have popular content. I don't talk about celebrities. I don't talk celebrity stuff. I might now and again, but it's not the purpose of it. It's not an entertainment show, and it's not the kind of content that is for everyone. But the numbers that I see on Instagram, it's growing. On Twitter, already sitting on just over 2,000 of you who have followed my Twitter account. I appreciate it, man. Like, I really, really do. So it's gonna be a hard-hitting content as we go along. I'm gonna share my stories in my studio/office, and I'm gonna do it in the car, Mr. President, and I'm gonna be able to share as much as I can, and keep telling people about it, man. Keep telling people about it. Keep sharing the content. Let's empower. Let's save this country, man. Let's save this country. It's enough that we are subjected to Masepa. You saw there in Free State, the dam burst in one town. People are living in mud, in water. Can you imagine how sick they're gonna be? You've seen hona le ba dulang ko Vereeniging somewhere further south ba eleng gore they are living in shit. The sewers have burst. Masepa everywhere. They wake up, they smell shit. They wake up, they walk on shit. They walk on sewer. Other towns, people can't even open a tap of water to drink clean water. Clean water. Clean water. It's bullshit, man. So I want you to understand that my mission and my vision is to be able to share as much content as possible, because I no longer do it for an organization to share my content with people face to face. The house meeting, because COVID showed us that it's not necessary and that people are digital. The public meetings, the public meetings, I don't share that stuff in front of 100, 15 people, 20 people, 30 people, and so on. I now do it specifically online. So I'm going to do that on this platform. So I'll share as much as possible. I realize that also I've been contacted by a couple of young people who will always say, Brasiti man, harsa bona, harsa, we don't, hausa atla, hausa atlo share content, hausa atlo re khabudisa, hausa atla, so the one-on-ones, I said, gents, follow me online, and I'll religiously post content and bring people that I think I would like to speak to, that have something that people can learn from. And that's what I've been doing. So I want to appreciate everybody, all the guests I've had on the show. Gerald Mwandiambira, Osluki on the mind issue, Gerald on the finances, Posha Mudise on her journey in football, Bokuini, so many of you have taken an opportunity to give me that opportunity to say, showing you how we know it's not about the large numbers or large volumes of people, but it's about a captive audience that watches and listens. All right. Okay, so I'm about to sign off because my daughter has just arrived. She's outside. I can hear the bell. She's just come back from work and she's about to do her license. She's going for a driving school lesson, which starts at 1 o'clock. So I better open up for her. So I'm out, man. Boom.